what the fuck is going on? Why are none of these organisations doing it? Why?
I don't know. But you talk
I think
about...
we do know, don't we?
Awesome to meet you.
Likewise.
So I'd love to come and have a chat and hear a bit about you. So first, tell me a little bit about your background and your trip so far in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, my family live in Auckland, so I'm visiting my family here. I'm originally from England, from a small town called Sydneyets, just near Cambridge, a factory town. And so I grew up there to the age of 15. And then at 15 years old, my father, who was 54, died suddenly of a heart attack. And my whole life changed. And then from that moment, I left home, left school, and I actually tried to get a job. But I was actually technically homeless. And so while I was homeless, it was very hard to get a job because you don't have an address. On top of that, in England, you need a national insurance number to get a job. And I didn't have a national insurance number yet because you get that at 16. So basically, I couldn't get a job. I went to social services for help. They told me no, they can't help me. I looked like a full-grown man and they had people with kids and stuff to help. So I was a bit like told I'm very low on the list, which at the time actually made sense to me, believe it or not. And then I basically couldn't get a job and I couldn't get help from social services. And I described this moment as like the entrepreneur muscle woke up in my brain. And for the first time in my life, school had never taught me to use it. I realized I needed to find a way to create wealth, not extract wealth. Taking a job is extracting. I wanted to create. My brain said, a big house in Cambridge said, there's a big house in Cambridge. Yeah. They had a messy garden, but they must have money because they got a big house. So my brain said, knock on the door and see if they'll pay you to clean up that garden. So that's what I did. And from that moment, I, at 15 years old, created a gardening company. So that's basically the story.
Amazing. And do you think that obviously you had a hard thing that sort of stimulated that? Do you think that's a lot of entrepreneurs' stories, or do you think that you need something to kick you off?
I think everyone's got a different journey.
Yeah.
I think for entrepreneurship, there has to be often a catalyst. So it can be that your parents were entrepreneurs and that could be the catalyst. It can be that you have a hobby that you want to put a financial model behind, so that becomes a catalyst. Some people are born, I know the 8-year-old selling lemonade in the street, that wasn't me, but I know people like that. And so I think sometimes it's in you, sometimes it's created because of your environment. And so right now, for example, in England, I'm seeing a lot of university students that have been trained to get a job. They can't get a job. There's 1.2 million kids come out of university, can't get a job. So now, because they don't just want to start a business, they need to start a business. They're not looking for a job, they're creating a job for themselves. And that's a catalyst moment.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think sometimes if humans are lazy, if we had the path of least resistance, right? Apply for a job, get a job, someone pays you every month and you don't have to think about it. Seems like the easy path. Long term, that's the hard path. But in the short term, it's the easy path. And humans are pretty lazy. So they need a catalyst for entrepreneurship. And that catalyst for me was homelessness and that whole sad situation with my family. But I think for everybody I've met who's a successful entrepreneur, the catalyst can be different.
Yeah, I was moving countries to New Zealand. You talk about the education system, and my personal belief is the education system isn't really fit for to teach entrepreneurship and financial understanding. How would you change the education system if you were in charge?
If I was in charge, how would I change the education system? Well, first of all, they're never going to let me be in charge because I would not just change the education system, but I think there needs to be a radical rethink. And so, at school, there's this whole concept of like, don't copy someone's homework. But in the real world, innovation comes from copying. We've got fire because we saw someone do fire. We thought that's a good idea and someone copied it, right? So I think the whole mentality of sit down and shut up, don't be original, all wear the same uniforms. You've got to get rid of this sort of like conformity mindset. We're all unique and individual. That's actually what makes us special. That's what no one can copy, right? The originalness of you, right? So I think, but the fundamental framework for the school, I would change. The school system asks at a very young age the wrong question to kids. Like my son's 8. And when he was 5 and I took him to his first big school, the teacher sat all the kids down. I was allowed there the first morning when he was in this school. Yeah. And all the kids, 5 years old, smiling, happy. The teacher says, sit down, kids. And then she says, right, I want each of you to tell me, what would you like to do when you grow up? Right now, I think that's the question that causes the problem at the very start. Because now my son at 5 years old is looking at me, Daddy, what should I say?
Yeah.
What's going to make everyone in this room happy? Fear in his eyes, like, give me the answer to this question. I have no idea. How can he know at 5?
No.
But tell me the answer that's going to make adults happy. A doctor, a lawyer, what should I say?
Yeah.
And so, and of course that leads trapped minds to think about, oh, okay, you want to be a lawyer, right? Okay, you're 10 years old, you want to be a lawyer. Go to university, do this, do this. And by the time you're 28 years old and you're a lawyer, now you're finding out for the first time whether you actually want to be a lawyer, because you are actually a lawyer. And 75% of people I meet in that space aren't happy, right? So the real question we should ask, and this is the very simple fix to the education system, is not what will you do when you grow up, but what problem will you solve? Because that allows your mind to open up and do things. And once, let's say my son now, who's talking about David Attenborough and the sixth extinction, he's like, oh, Daddy, I don't like the idea of a sixth extinction for humanity. I'd like to stop that, right? And now he's thinking his skills and how he can apply them to solve the problem, as opposed to like this job, which you retrofit the skills to do. So just change that question. Don't ask kids what they're going to do when they grow up. Don't ask them, because first of all, no one can predict with AI what's even going to exist. Lawyer, doctor, might all be done by AI. Yeah. I think so, but people disagree. But the point is, don't trap young minds into this one-track thinking. Get a fucking job.
Yeah, linear path. And yourself, you've been successful. You've made the money. You've been successful in life. You've got the audience. What drives you to continue to do what you do with Help Bank and with what you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, you're supposed to be on holiday, yet you're still helping people.
Yeah. Because I'm just helping the 15-year-old me.
Yeah.
You know, if I was speaking to a therapist about it, it would be that, you know, like, I want to be useful. I want to be heard. Just because I've made money, I want to put the ladder down. I want to make my son proud. I want to make my wife proud. I want to have purpose in the world. It's all quite selfish, you know, but I love to see someone with a dream have a little bit of help to make it happen. Because, you know, you see people write self-made millionaires and self-made billionaires. Impossible. Absolute lie. Not possible. Everybody successful had a little bit of help.
100%.
And so I think it's about creating that little bit of help in the world. And I have 20 million people following me now. They all help. So it's not just me. It's a movement. It's a concept of like, let's help each other. Let's remove politics from the equation if we can, although politics always injects itself into our lives. But like, let's just help each other. You know, that I have to live by that philosophy myself. Yes, I'm on holiday, but I come here and fate kicks in. Someone who tells me they're a fan has a dream. I can't just say, sorry, I'm playing golf tomorrow. I can't help you.
Yeah, serendipity.
Sorry. So I cancel all my plans and here I am. And I'm actually really happy I'm here. And I'm going to leave New Zealand with a new dream alive at this amazing Pink Cabbage Cafe where people can come and meet a dreamer and see what a dream looks like in the real world. And I will come back here every year. So will my son, and so will his kids eventually, hopefully. And so, you know, it's also legacy, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think what you say, I've got 2 kids and my daughter's on the spectrum, and she just created the first business at 11, like with these little gems. And
proud dad there. I saw the proud moment.
Absolutely proud dad. I even put it on LinkedIn. I was that proud and stuff. But you touched on politics, and I know it's a little bit of a touchy subject, but my personal opinion is that politicians should be doing more to support smaller businesses.
100%. Yeah, it's okay. So there's this push in government. All governments around the world right now are pretty much the same strategy, which is help big companies. And it's a mistake.
It's a massive mistake.
Because, and I get why, the big companies have so much power because they're probably some of the largest tax contributors and some of the largest influence. If they say they're leaving a country, panic sets in, right?
Yeah.
But I think because of all that money going to the big companies, in reality, most of the time they don't need it. Not always. I don't want to be, you know, I want to be more nuanced about it, but like in most cases, these companies are global, international. They don't need the money from the government or the tax breaks from the government. They just need a profitable economy to which to work in. Where there's a real pain and never gets attention is the hundreds of thousands of small business owners. How many are there in New Zealand? You know?
Oh, there's at least 300,000 visitors.
Yeah. So without small businesses, there are no big businesses. And most of the small business owners, most of the time, one of the pain points is they can't find a job, they start a business. So they're taxpayers. But there seems to be a thing where, and this business, I've just experienced it, looking at the details of it, these businesses are squeezed like an orange. It's like, just get everything out of them, you know, like every single way you can tax a small business and implement this business is these people have been working this business and making nothing, just surviving, hoping somehow for some miracle that maybe they'll get a catering booking and they can finally make some money this month. But for years, they're making nothing. And this, it all comes from this system of tax to this, tax to this, tax to this, on top of the high costs still of infrastructure, right? So governments need to change their strategy. They need to help small business. That's what I'm doing. I used to own a company called Fluid based in Hong Kong, and I made millions helping big companies succeed. So I get it. I get that's where the money is. A lot of the politicians leave and go and work for these companies after. Yeah. I get why it's a good idea to, you know, grease the wheels with these people. But what I'm doing now, I've realized you've got to help the people start businesses. You've got to help people that are having small businesses, because without those guys, there is no big business and there is no economy. It all dies. And it frustrates the hell out of me that no governments, and I don't want to pick on this government, no government seems to understand. And do you know why? They're not business owners. They never had a small business. They don't know what it's like to struggle with cash flow when big companies don't pay you for 90 days. They never had to struggle making sure that they can pay their staff while also trying to pay all the rates and the rent and these crazy fees that come up for like taking rubbish away. It shouldn't be a profit center for whoever's doing that part of it, right? So I get very upset because I think right now, the most important, with AI as well taking away a lot of jobs, big companies are using AI. So small business is going to become even more important. If you want an economy to survive, back people to start businesses, give them tax breaks to start businesses, help them, reduce the burden to start. I met someone yesterday who's on benefits here. He can't start a business because he loses his benefits. So even he wants to come out of the system and start something, he's scared. That is not right.
No, it's not right.
Why would you do that to your citizen, the person you're hoping will vote for you?
It's absurd.
And you're costing a taxpayer money. Let them have the benefit for a year and start a business. Give them a year free. And then 1 year from now, let's say even if 50% of people come off benefit because the business worked, oh my God. Policies are not that complicated. You know, people from politics, it's very complicated, long documents, policy documents. Basically make it really complicated legal language. Not really.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very straightforward. You know what? For 1 year, if you're on social benefit, you can start a business and we won't tax you. Do it. Go on Etsy. Go on whatever you can. Make some extra money. Do it. Make your life a bit better. That'll create real world economic benefit. And so do small businesses, by the way. Big companies, they do pay tax. I don't want to make them the enemy either. But small businesses, again, these organizations, when the little businesses work, they're contributing so much to the direct economy, because the owner of this place, if she makes 5,000 New Zealand dollars in a month, she's spending it at the supermarkets. She's spending
100%.
it in fuel. She's spending it in the real economy right now, whereas big companies probably store a lot of that money.
And offshore.
And of course, they're global, so they'll put it where they get the best interest rate. Whereas small businesses are spending it in the real economy right now. It's like, isn't this just common sense? I don't even think I'm raving a bit. I don't want to sound like a madman, but to me, like, it's just obvious, isn't it?
I think so too.
What the fuck is going on there? Why are none of these organizations doing it? I'm talking governments as organizations. Why?
I don't know. But
I think we do know, don't we?
You talk about fear, and I think one of the biggest things that stops young entrepreneurs is that fear of starting. Like, if you could give advice to someone who's thinking about it, but they're, hemmed back by the fear, what is the kind of 1 or 2 things that you could say to them that might help them get over that fear? Because that often holds us back.
I think, first of all, fear is a good thing. I think fear makes you prepare. Fear makes you focus. Fear's a superpower. The problem with today, and the way people perceive fear is when they feel fear, they want to turn it off. But fear is what makes you run faster. It makes you think differently. I actually seek out fear. I actually find it very hard to have fear now because I've got a lot of capital behind me and I'm comfortable and I know my thing. So, but I seek it out. You know, I think it's something that helps you just go to the next level in things. Fear was originally designed. A lion comes towards you, you feel fear, you can run faster, you can get up a tree, you'll beat a lion. A lion statistically should eat you, but you'll win because you're leveraging fear. So I think people should leverage it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, imagine 19-year-old you. Most people in their 90s, when they're interviewed about what they wish they'd done, they only regret what they didn't do. So if you do it and it fails, at least you did it. But if you don't do it, you'll always wonder. And life is a journey, right? You don't want to get to 90. You can't go back in time. So you've got to realize that fear is a superpower, lean into it, embrace it, plan against it so you don't fail. But equally at the same time, realize if you don't do it, you're going to be 90 and have a regret. Sitting there in your rocking chair thinking, shit, I should have done that. And that is the worst thing. You can't go back in time. You can always make the money back. You can always, recuperate financially over time if you persevere. It's madness not to try.
No, I agree with you. And you talk about going back in time. If you could go back in time, what lesson that you've learned over the years would you tell your younger self?
I think when I was younger, money was a big focus. And I made money and I did all right. I think I'd remind my kind of factory setting Simon, we're all the same, that actually it's not about money. Money is actually fabricated. So how can it be about money? How can the purpose of life be money, right? When you think about it, money didn't exist until, recent history. So we never got this far focusing on money. We got this far focusing on community. We got this far focusing on helping each other get through the week as a community. And so I go back to my younger self and probably just say, make sure you look after the people you work with a bit more. Make sure you give back to your community a little bit more. And I was 25, 26, 27. I was just like, got to make money for me. Got to build something for me. I didn't give equity to my team. I didn't contribute to my community. I just wanted to make money. My business was a service company. So I helped businesses, but they paid me and I hoarded that money, right? And again, sometimes it's dangerous to change history. So I am where I am now and I'm helping people because I'm able. I filled my own bucket up first. So there's something in that. But I think I could have done even more if I'd started even younger. Even though I wasn't rich back then, I could have still helped one person a week by giving them 10 minutes of time for free.
100%.
It doesn't have to be everything is a transaction. And so I go back to my younger self and I say, forget give and take. Forget it. It's programmed into us by the tax man. I'll help you only if you help me. Get that. That's not normal. Our normal way of living is give without take. Yeah. How can I help you today?
I love that.
And take 10 minutes, give without take. So that's what I go back and say to myself. I'd still have to focus on me because I have to fill my own bucket.
100%.
But I could probably help, 52 people extra a year that I didn't when I was younger because I thought I had to wait until I was rich.
Yeah, well, even a smile can sometimes help someone.
100%, which by the way, New Zealand does very well.
Yeah, it
I
does.
have never felt so smiled at here, which is nice.
It does. I want to know a little bit more about your book. You've recently-ish launched a book. I mean, what can you tell us about the process of doing that and also what you hope to achieve by it?
Yeah, so I don't read. I'm dyslexic. So I listen to audiobooks, but I hardly read. So I felt YouTube was really powerful. TikTok, Instagram from an education point of view has blown my mind. People don't see them as education platforms, but they definitely are. It's how kids are learning now. That all blew my mind how big social has been. I wrote a book because Penguin approached me and said, you should write a book about business. I'm like, oh, okay. But my instinct was, 100 people will read it, but I'll do it. So I actually voice clipped each chapter and then someone helped me write it up. But the whole thing has blown my mind. Print is very much alive.
Yes.
And of course, audiobooks, but people take that book on holiday with them and they'd come back a week later and change their life. And I wanted to write a book that was very grounded in reality, someone who's got no money, maybe no dream even, or they may have a dream, but they don't know how to make it happen, and just help them step by step understand how to make it happen. But I didn't realize what a gap in the market there was for a book like this, which is why right now today it's #1 in the UK.
Amazing.
And it's just gone on sale here, actually, a paperback. So I'm very proud of it. And you know, it's kind of helping people realize a lot of what stops people being successful is themselves.
Yes.
Not only the knowledge they don't have, but also the knowledge they think is true. So for example, people believe 90% of businesses fail in the first year. That's what people believe who haven't started a business. And it's not true.
So go back to the kind of thing. I want to understand, like, you must be very comfortable now, and you've created something called Help Bank. I'd like to explain a little bit about the thought process behind Help Bank, where it is now, and what you want to achieve with that.
Yeah. So I wanted to create a platform because I can only help so many people a day, right? My general mission when I'm not traveling is to help 2 people a day in a meaningful way. Because that's a capacity I've got as a human being. I've got a family, I want to be healthy, you know, that gives me time to do the things I need to do. But as I was building this out, I realized there's hundreds of thousands of people every week that need help. So I'm like, how can I get all these people help? I'm only one human. There's so many people following me that have so much knowledge, so much connections, sometimes capital. And I wanted to create a place where all of those people following me that wanted to help could help. So Help Bank was the answer. Entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs. And it's a beautiful thing to see. And it replaces me. So if I'm gone, this can carry on. And people can still get help with their dreams and not just looking for Simon Squibb in the street. They'll be able to like go somewhere and get help. Proper help.
I love that amplification. And another thing I saw, I don't know if it still exists, is you created an AI agent of yourself with your own knowledge.
Yeah. So I'm the first influencer to replace myself with AI. Most people are creating new AIs that people follow because they're fake people. But I've created an AI version of myself, and it's really cool. I launched it, it got to #1 on the App Store, but the problem was it's really expensive to operate it. So we had, in 3 weeks, we had hundreds of thousands of people calling me, this AI me, and it's actually a little bit better than me. Because sometimes I can waffle, or I say, not this AI. We put all of my knowledge and all the videos I've made, thousands of videos, into the AI, and then we locked out bullshit, right? Because if you go to ChatGPT now, and you ask ChatGPT, how do I compete with someone, right? I honestly think it's a Second World War leader giving you the answer, because it's awful. Where's the knowledge coming from, right? People want advice from people whose life they want, right? That's why people they follow people they like. So why are we asking ChatGPT, who is that?
Yeah, it's Reddit, basically.
Who is it? Some madman who's upset, finger warrior. Destroy them all. That's what they said to me. When I work with competitors, I end up often acquiring them, teaming up with them. I'm not looking to squash them. ChatGPT told me to squash them.
Oh, amazing.
So I think that, you know, I wanted to create something where you knew the source of the AI, and you knew, look, I'm happily married. So if you want dating advice, don't go talk to Simon AI. If you want to know how to build a business, I've done it with no money, from scratch, with no skills. So I have that knowledge, and that Simon AI wanted to have that knowledge. And then he can have, you know, hours-long conversations with people that I can't have.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a kind of a scalable version again of getting people help. We had to actually limit it to 2 minutes, because I had some people call me 8-9 hours long. They were ringing me and having 8 or 9 hour long conversations, right? Which might also talk to the loneliness pandemic that we have, but it was hugely expensive for hundreds of thousands of people to have a 9 hour conversation with me, because I'm using external technology.
Yeah.
So I've limited it to 2 minutes now, but it's still there for people. And I'm now looking to get a partner, a sponsor on board to pay so people can speak for longer on it, because it's hugely expensive.
Yeah,
but
well,
it
that'd
works.
be amazing.
And it's the first of its kind. I'm really proud of it.
So, and it's available in New Zealand?
It's available anyway. It's on the App Store, yeah.
Cool.
What's Your Dream is the app on the App Store.
What's Your Dream?
Yeah.
In relation to this business that you're helping, like, amazing.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit around that and how it happened?
So this dream has come alive, not just because of me. Right, I'm promoting it on social media, her dream, and the community in the comments, you should, you know, amazing. wanting to give her money, wanting to help her, become customers, the community. And then in New Zealand, there's a couple of people I want to make sure I shout out, right?
Who's that?
Kakapu, the agent that was selling this place,
Cool.
helped, and Sterling,
Yeah.
the handling agent with the landlord. Amazing companies that
Very
have just
cool.
dived in to help someone's dream happen.
Love it.
And that has blown my mind. They don't know me. They didn't have to help. They're businesses, but they've gone above and beyond, instantly jumping on this and helping make this dream real. I couldn't have done it without them. Impossible.
Amazing.
And then finally, I want to say the owner of this place, who's ran this for years and years, started it in COVID, just hasn't stopped. Her heart is so good. You know, when you run a business and it hasn't gone exactly how you hope,
Yeah.
it can turn you bitter and make you angry. And she's the opposite. She's like so happy this cafe is going to the staff member she's worked side by side with for 3 years. She's so happy it's not going to close. She's like actually positive about her tough experience. She knows it's helped her go to the next thing in a stronger way. Now that's special.
That is special.
You know, and it's worth calling out because sometimes the headlines might be, you know, new owner of this place. Let's not forget the original owner.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget her.
You're 100%
Because
right.
without her, first of all, it wouldn't be possible for this dream to happen. And even the transition, she's there helping in the transition now. She's not run off. It's your problem now. She's like, I'm going to help every step of the way, make sure this business that you are taking over from me, and she's getting nothing from it. Zero. Nothing after all her years of hard work. That's a big thing. So what she is getting from it, and I can see it in her heart, is she's seeing someone's dream from her life that she really cares about. That's been a member of staff for years. People always make bosses out to be bad, you see. When you hear boss, there's instantly a sort of negative to it, right?
Yeah.
Like the word boss even comes across as like, oh, this is a kind boss, a good boss. And she's happy that it's going to a member of staff that she's worked with for 3 years,
I love that.
right? And I think that's an important nuance because a lot of people don't understand bosses are not bad. Bosses most of the time are good people that want the best for their staff. And sometimes people are bosses making all the money, screwing the worker. Not true. Definitely not true on the small business level. On a small business level, every single employee is only there because they like their boss. It's not there for the money most of the time. They're not there for the one day we're going to make billions from this company going IPO. They're there because they fucking care about the owner of the company, and bosses often in those environments and small businesses are the kindest people on the planet.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want to thank you for your time. You've been very generous with your time and helping the people in New Zealand. To finish out, is there just one message you can give to the New Zealand public?
Anything is possible. Don't let the systems stop you following your dream. Don't let them be the excuse. Don't let money be the excuse. Don't let the government be the excuse. Take agency over your life because it's actually up to you. And if you dream and tell enough people that dream, someone will be able to help you make it happen because you can't do it alone. Don't think you can. And it will happen.
You're a legend. Thank you for your time and what you do for the people of the world.
Likewise. Thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for saving this business and making it work.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's important.
it's cool.
Appreciate you, man.